This video is being recorded on Tuesday, July 19th at 2:20 p.m. Pacific time. So the New York session of the Forex markets just closed and we're into the Asian session now. I did take one trade on US dollar Swiss franc last night. This was at 12:30 a.m. Pacific time, right after the London session open. If you remember, we were looking for a breakout to the downside on a potential retracement move. I only captured part of the move. It happened rather quickly, and I wasn't awake the whole time to monitor how it would play out. But overall, we captured 13 pips of profit using 1% of risk taken to the stop loss, which was set about 40 to 45 pips above the entry position. So let me show you the exact chart of how US dollar Swiss franc looked like. So if you remember yesterday, we were anticipating a breakdown on the weekly chart here, being resisted by this descending trend line. So on the daily chart, it didn't happen yesterday or the day before, but it did end up happening yesterday. So the entire move was about 80 pips or so, 80 or 90 pips to the very bottom. And in terms of the Ichimoku indicators, only the 1 hour time frame was trending so far. That's the reason why I cut my risk in half to just take 1% of risk on this trade. So you can see here on July 18th, after the New York close, US dollar Swiss franc was pretty much ranging into the Sydney and Tokyo sessions. I was thinking it might get resisted by the tip of this wick here, formed on July 18th, and it would not pass that. The price action showed the buyers was slowing down, and then it did end up breaking this counter trend line downwards at about 2100 hours on July 18th. And then the selling action basically intensified as we went into the Tokyo close and the London open. So let me show you how this chart looked like on the 5-minute time frame. So you can see here pretty much consistent selling. I was looking for it to maybe stop at the previous support level of 0.97310. It interacted with it briefly, but there was basically no resistance from the buyers here. So the sellers basically took over and kept selling it through. I was actually watching the 2-minute time frame for entry at this point. So let me show you precisely the candles I was looking at. So yeah, I was looking for the market to react somewhere at the previous support level, which is right here. I'll change the line to red. So it kind of got supported, but not for long. I started considering an entry right at this pin bar right here. The sellers tried to push it down, but the buyers came in and supported it for a while, but not long. The subsequent candle was an engulfing candle, which pretty much closed right at the wick low of the previous 2-minute candle. And I was waiting for maybe 1 or 2 candles more for confirmation, but as I saw, it did not get pushed back up by the buyers, and it failed again. And then right at this candle close at 12:34, this 2-minute candle here, is when I entered my sell position. So my entry price was exactly 0.97199. And immediately on the same 2-minute candle that I entered, it went down, and then it continuously started going down until about 1 o'clock Pacific time. So here is when the price went into a range until about 1:40, 1:50 a.m. And I was thinking the price was relatively oversold, and it might retrace to the previous low. So you might get a better idea if you look at the 30-minute time frame. So here it was clearly looking oversold from the indicators. Now that doesn't mean it can't keep going, but if I were to enter or consider entering at the bottom of this candle at the 1:30 or 12:30 mark, that would have significantly less edge than if I entered somewhere earlier in the trend. So I was about ready to go to bed, and I could have set my break-even stop loss. Originally my stop loss was all the way up here at the previous 5-minute high, about 40 pips, 45 pips from when I entered. So I was thinking to move this one right below my entry here, maybe 5 or 6 pips below, but I also didn't want it to get hit and lose more pips than I could have if I just exited right here. So I just took a choice to manually exit, and what I was actually looking on the 2-minute chart was so these are very minor candles, but if you expand them, you can see that if you said the range was the top of the range was here and the bottom was here, towards the end after 1:30 we started getting higher lows on the 2-minute time frame and almost higher highs. One bar was able to close cleanly into this wick right here at 1 hour 16 minutes. And then the sellers were not able to push it down into the bottom of the range, and it went back up in the next 2-minute candle. So the close of this 1:46 candle was actually when I decided to exit my trade. So you can see there was another pin bar following, and I essentially stopped watching the chart after I exited my position. But it did not go back up all the way. There was still some buying interest on the 2-minute chart. But if I did set my stop loss, right at the top of the wick here, it might get pushed up and taken out anyway. So yeah, I decided just to close with 13 pips of profit. And then I checked later on after the New York session opened. I think I woke up around 6:45 or 7 a.m. today and went to check the charts. So when I first looked, it looked like it did end up going down all the way at 6:40. So the total move down, I think, from my entry was about 80 pips or so, 60 pips to the very bottom. But during the New York session, USD Swiss franc, it recovered and went into a range. So even if I did stay in this trade, I may have just captured maybe 10 more pips from my actual exit. Maybe if I set, the stop loss somewhere here above the previous highs, it would have gotten taken out at the end of the New York session. Yeah, but that's okay. We could see continued selling on the 1 hour or 4 hour charts here. So let me hide all these lines so you can see clearly. But yeah, the 1 hour time frame, it is clearly in a downtrend. You could say broke these head and shoulders formations, broke the neckline here, and yeah, this area did have some previous price action by the buyers and sellers, so it could continue to range for a little while before breaking out in either up or down directions. Originally I was looking for the selling to go to the previous low at 95.25. So we'll see. It might consolidate for a while, or it may continue going down when the London session opens tonight. But you can see here in the 4 hour chart, now the Kumo has twisted, so it should be going down continuously. You can wait for these other indicator lines to break out of the previous Kumo area. But yeah, US dollar was very, very weak in the last 24 hours. I think it went down 70 or 75 pips total. Maybe you can see from the currency strength chart. So yesterday, US dollar, yeah, it was down, 90 points by itself before recovering a bit. So as a summary, I gained 13 pips from this dollar Swiss franc trade. That equates to about 900, a little bit over $900 for the account I'm trading, and was about 0.5%, 0.44% of total account gain, which puts me almost at $210,000. I'm just $270 shy of that. And that's a significant milestone, because if you do achieve at least a 5% gain and you just stop the challenge, FTMO will actually automatically give you another 14 days to complete the rest of the challenge and hit a total 10% profit target, assuming you don't break any of the other rules before the challenge ends. So yeah, we're making good progress. I'm only on the second week so far. I started the challenge on July 11th, and I have until August 9th to complete all the profit targets and goals. So yeah, we'll see what comes out of the remainder of this week and the next coming weeks, but it's looking good so far.